An Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Masturbators, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Reapers. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening.
And Toontastic Journeys.
You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to your favorite movie-based podcast. This is An Evening at the Movies. I am the incredibly ecstatic Reverend Kasey B. I am happy to be here, and it's been a weekend. A fucked up weekend, but it's been a fucked up weekend for a plethora of reasons. I have a plethora this weekend. But you know the drill. Stale popcorn, watered down sodas, favorite movies, why we love them. And there's a couple people here with me. One of them not paying attention, so she can introduce herself with that piece of crap shirt she has on. Co-host?
Okay, first of all, I was paying attention. I'm trying to share our show with extra viewers, but it's not live on Facebook. So, you know what? Screw you. And I will proudly wear my Thunder shirt and say Thunder up all the time. Anyway, yes, I'm Amanda, host of the Sip List. Happy to be here and talk about today's movie. And we have another guest with us, per the usual.
Well, co-host, but you know.
Oh yeah,
down there on the bottom. Hi, Chance.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm still getting used to that co-host thing.
Well, no, I mean at the same time, it took me how long to remember to add co-host to your title in the beginning too. So
very true.
Ah, shit. And if it makes it easier, you can just call me the resident.
The resident?
Go ahead.
The resident. I was the resident guest.
No.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, high tide raises all ships. I ain't tripping on it. This is y'all barbecue, and I just happen to bring a little bit of extra sauce.
And loose lips sink ships, which should be the theme or title of today's episode with the movie we're doing. Or loose lips get you murdered.
Yeah.
Fucking, or I was gonna say, or the only way two people can keep a secret is if one of them is dead.
Exactly. True story.
Very true. Speaking in mysteries, but yes, we are.
What?
One of the three of us knows what the question that I just answered is.
Yeah, I already figured it out. Okay.
So,
Anywho.
All right. Thanks-Grisham Month, week 3. We've done a couple of great movies already to kick this thing off. We're going to do another today. And then just because we're excited to be here, we're going to do this shit again in a couple days and go live again. So, but we can't get to that live without going through this live first. So, we're going to talk about Amanda's Boy Toys, one of his amazing performances. I'll let her fill you in as to who her boy toy is in a second. But we're going to be discussing the John Grisham classic, The Client.
Woo!
Amanda, who's your boy toy?
You can't call him a boy toy. He's too distinguished for that. But yeah, Tommy Lee Jones is one of my old man crushes in the 90s. Him and Gene Hackman, who is in 2 of the movies we're reviewing this month. So they were definitely my old dude crushes.
Yeah.
I was reading a Reddit thread about this movie, and someone was like, name a movie where Tommy Lee Jones isn't a lawyer or some kind of like police official or whatever. And I was like, let me introduce you to Coal Miner's Daughter. That was the only one I could think of.
Where he wasn't
He was
JFK.
He was just a wife beater. Oh, I forgot he was in JFK. Okay.
Yeah,
But who
in
was playing
JFK.
that? He wasn't like a government or cop thing?
Nope, he wasn't. Well, technically, he was involved in the government's conspiracy, but he was not a government official of any capacity.
Gotcha.
He was like a Louisiana debutante.
The problem with the problem with JFK is there's so many goddamn people in that movie that
Factual.
nobody really has a
Forever.
significant, memorable portion of screen time unless your name is Kevin Costner.
And you said a role that he's not a cop, right?
A cop, a lawyer, or some kind of like justice figure, like a U.S. Marshal or a cop or whatever.
Hunted.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's the one with Benicio del. It's the one with Benicio del Toro, where he was not in the army, but he taught special forces people how to, survive and track and.
I think that still counts.
No, because it's not an official title. He's not officially a cop or a lawyer.
He's still doing the thing. I think it still counts.
I mean, he had no official authority, I guess, is my point for you for that point of reference. Because he was a consultant.
Completely different and like.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. JFK and Coal Miner's Daughter are the far end of that, but I'd say like when we get to that crossover for the Venn diagram is that particular role for sure, because he is a consultant for the military, but he's not like, kind of like your dad, how he officially, unofficially was in, Central America in the 80s during certain.
Well, no, he was in the military when that happened.
Oh.
So
yeah, he was a lifetime military guy. Yeah.
A brilliant segue, Chancy, because
thank you.
welcome to the viewership. Everybody's favorite super fan.
He's the resident dad.
Glad to have you here, Michael. He really is, and as he chimed in to make sure that we brought up to Mr. His daughter's dream husband is a Harvard graduate as well.
He is not my dream husband, but I had a crush on him for sure.
Oh, you would freaking marry that in a heartbeat.
I had an older guy type in the 90s for sure, like Tommy Lee Jones and Gene Hackman, and I'm trying to think who else, but like, I don't know. Anyway. I'm trying to remember and I can't do it.
That's funny.
I had an older guy type. I want to say it was
I was gonna say, this segment of Amanda's angsty adult fucking, crush, brought to you by Pepsi.
Or the AARP.
When you well, I was gonna do the tagline, when you really gotta quench your thirst, it's best to just grab a Pepsi, and then also sponsored by the AARP. Are you a member today?
I mean, I'm sure they both know their way around a lady part or two, so I'm sure they could have quenched some thirsts.
Jesus.
You started it.
I was gonna say, I mean, I'm sure they probably do know their way around. They probably went on the expedition to map it out.
Shit.
I'm so sure you're
a lot in the 90s. Like,
they were getting it.
Glad
in the 90s, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, in the 90s, Tommy Lee and 90s Gene is what I'm talking about, and even 80s. Yeah, they were getting it. But we can talk about Gene more next week. Let's talk about Tommy today.
Well, I mean, we had the chance to talk about Gene 2 weeks ago when, ironically, your dad was here for that one.
I mentioned my crush for that one. The Firm.
It's all good.
He wasn't here for the Firm. He was here for Pelican Brief, right? Or was he here for the Firm? I don't know.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Your dad was here for the Firm.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
I was going to say
no, it was just us for the Pelican. Yeah, that was the Firm.
Well, if y'all haven't caught on yet, we're on to our
third
John Grisham installment, and today we are reviewing the Client. Dun dun dun. Not to be confused with the Client List, which is a whole different
shit. That was fucking. I was not expecting that when I tried to fucking pull it up to watch it. I was like, I think I downloaded the wrong copy.
The Client List show, though, like for real, and I guess it was a movie first. It was like a Lifetime movie, but Jennifer Love Hewitt running a brothel. Gotta love it.
Yeah. No comment. So.
Sorry.
Hi. Yes.
Hello? Who said hi?
Girl Kasey says hi.
Hello.
Hi, Girl Kasey.
Everyone says hi, Girl Kasey.
Hi.
It's interesting that I brought that up because I was watching Heartbreakers earlier, which has Jennifer Love Hewitt and Gene Hackman and Susan Sarandon. No, wait, that's Sigourney Weaver. Never mind. But still, it did have those other two. I don't know why I do that. I mix up Sigourney Weaver and Susan Sarandon all the time. Anyway. Okay, Kasey, go ahead. Sorry. I don't.
With all of that said, though. No, you just eat the gummies.
And I haven't had one yet today. I'm just having a mimosa or 2 or 3. I'm pre-gaming for Tay-Tay. This time next weekend, I'll be having my Eras Tour hangover, so.
So I take it that's next Saturday night. You'll be in the foreign land.
I leave Friday.
Calling all your Starbucks lovers.
Yep. And I might just stay there. Maybe Canada will accept me. We'll see.
Oh, you probably get better health care. We're not going down that road, though. So, yeah, The Client released on July 20th, 1994. So technically, some bitchin' movie just turned 30 years old. Was directed by that dude who is responsible for giving us Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
Hey, I like Batman Forever. Batman Forever is a classic. I don't care what anybody says.
Isn't that the one with Tommy Lee Jones?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That was pretty good. I mean, for being what it was, I thought it was pretty all right. But then fucking Batman and Robin, though, fucking nah. Thanks, but no thanks.
Batman and Robin is the one that's responsible for giving us nipple suits.
Okay, back to the litigation instead of Batman nipples.
Let's see. The Client was released by Warner Brothers Pictures, had a $45 million budget, and had a nice hefty box office of $117.6 million.
Nice.
If you have not seen the movie, I highly recommend you pick one up. It can be found on the Apple TV Plus with a subscription, or you can just shell out $2.99, $3.99, whatever, and rent it. Otherwise, you ain't gonna be able to find it online. So, it is Sunday. It is that time of the morning. It is game time. Are we ready? No spreads allowed.
God damn it! I was
So on
just gonna
Wednesday
ask.
when my brother freaking listens, there will be no spreads for Chancy this week at all. Freaking rat
Fair
bastard on
enough.
Friday.
I thought
Took
that
what
was
round
great.
Tyson and whatever is going to go to. Oh, 3-4 because you give Chancy the opportunity to have a spread. I'm going 3-4.
He was still wrong.
Idiot. Use my own. Oh, he was way wrong. But we're not. I'm still. That's part of the reason why I'm still bitter about this weekend. But we're not going down that fucking road because I
Yeah.
could be here all morning going off on that shit.
All I
So,
gotta say is Netflix better get their shit fixed before Christmas because NFL will literally burn them to the ground if they cannot get their streaming shit figured out.
does Netflix really think that 11 million people is like a high estimate as to what's going to be watching when their live NFL games kick off on Christmas Day?
Well, I think
That
more people than that
number's
watch
probably
the
going
roast
to.
of Tom Brady live. Like
Yeah.
until the
Well, and
Tyson fight, which we don't know because half the people couldn't watch it, but that Tom Brady roast was their highest streamed thing ever, like live streamed.
well, and that's the part that pisses me is like literally they've had problems like this before when even like when what was their I think their first season of Cobra Kai I think was season 3 and
Two,
people stayed up till midnight. No, it was
sorry,
3
it was
because
three. You're right. Sorry,
two went
I remember
two went on YouTube.
because we got the subscription
But
just to watch
it
Cobra Kai.
yeah, well yeah, and there was literally like a 2-year gap in between 2 and 3 because of the buyout and all that. And then people literally millions and millions of people and it was only like 7 or 8 million people stayed up to watch season 3 when it dropped at midnight, but Netflix fucking crashed because shit got overwhelmed and it's like you would think they've had enough time to fix this fucking problem between then and now. Oh no, we're still gonna have this fucking problem.
People just need to switch to Prime. They stream live football every Thursday, and as far I've never seen any problems with it. So, I mean, we watch it almost
No,
every
I've
week.
never once. But see, here's the other point that I bring up though too. Not only do they have Christmas Day football coming up, but literally 9 days after that, they've got weekly live Monday Night Raw coming to Netflix starting
Really?
January 6th.
Not if they don't get
And
this shit
that
fixed.
is, no, that's literally the comment I made in one of our group chats Friday night was if people think they're watching on January 6th, they're sorely mistaken because Netflix needs to get their shit together. Otherwise, that whole thing is going to blow up in their face big time. But all right, enough of my rant. We need to get
I
to
don't know
our
about the WWE, but the
game.
NFL will kill them for real.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah. So, but we'll go down that
Tomato
road at a
time,
later date and time. But tomatoes,
tomatoes.
some rotten, some not so rotten,
You
some
say
Lady,
tomato,
popcorn.
I say
lady,
tomato.
I will go ahead and you know, ladies first.
Okay.
No spread
So
for either of the two of you.
I thought about it a little bit because this movie definitely has some flaws, which I'm sure we'll discuss. Overall, I still really enjoy it, but I kind of wish I could watch it again for the first time, having read the book and also not been a teenager, because I think I have a lot of nostalgia tied to it. But John Grisham stuff's done pretty well. So I'm going to say for the tomato meter, let's say like 73%. For the popcorn meter, I think audiences really liked this movie. And I mean, I think the box office numbers speak for that. So I'm going to say like 81% for the popcorn meter.
So 73 and 81.
Yeah.
Okay. Chancy motherfucking gripe.
Okay.
$1, Bob.
So I actually am in agreement for the most part. So like I remember, well, I shouldn't say I remember because I was really young when it came out, but
Yeah.
from what I remember is that it was very commercially praised and critically praised, I should say. So, what did you put for your
More
critics' choice?
Critics, I said 73, and audience, I said 81.
Okay, well, I think it's the other way around. I'm gonna say like, oh, god damn it! I was just getting ready to do the spread. I was gonna say like 75 to 80.
No spread.
Okay, so you said 81 for
no
the one. I'm
no
gonna go 80.
no.
I'm gonna be the fucking Price is Right person, but instead of going $1 over, I'm gonna go $1 under because
Okay.
I like even numbers. I
And
don't
you're
like
saying
the
80 for the critics score? Or
yeah the
okay.
critic yeah.
Okay.
So like the audience score for the reason that I'll get into when we get to the section of what we don't like and whatever, especially with that whole time. I've noticed that there's a pattern that if it's an older movie, it usually doesn't pan out like we always kind of expect it to for the critics review, or not the fan reviews and whatnot.
Well, that's why I don't
So
trust Rotten Tomatoes, and that's why I say that all the time. It wasn't around when these
same
movies came out, so you can't.
for real.
People
Yeah, and
watching
I
Time
agree.
for the first time today are not going to give it a high score. Like,
Oh hell no, absolutely not.
that's
No,
why Rotten
no.
Tomatoes, one of the
So
many reasons they're not to be trusted. Okay, sorry.
no, no, you're fine. You're fine. I was just kind of basically sitting, being in agreement. So I'll go, like I said, 80 for like critics and fucking 75 for the fan or whatever. Because it's not bad enough that it would be like a 60 or fucking 70. I don't think. And fuck it. Okay. No. I'll go 72. 72.
Okay, I'm like,
72.
you could just change your numbers, but that's fine. I think for me,
Well,
the cast is probably what made, because in my opinion, of the movies we've done so far, this has the most deeply stacked,
oh fuck yes.
recognizable faces. Maybe not as
That's
much as
exactly
they were
why.
then, but now for sure. Like,
Well,
which we'll
That
get into.
even again, like we said with the Pelican Brief, though too, this is another one of those movies where when you first saw this movie in 1994, you may not necessarily have known specifically the name, but like almost everybody that walked onto camera in this movie, you had seen in something before.
Yeah, I mean, I think of all four movies, this one has the deepest, well-known cast, like down to my minor characters. So, anyway, go ahead, Kasey. Let us know.
Yeah.
We're both probably really off.
So just for posterity, I'm going to screenshot and send
We
the proof.
believe you.
Everybody has their proof.
Oh, I'm not gonna look because I
With
trust you.
a critic with a tomato meter of 80% on only 40 ratings.
Oh, only 40. Okay. So I was really close, but it's only 40. Okay.
what
Well,
now?
you were
I'm
really
sorry.
close. Chancey was even closer than you were because Chancey said 80%.
He said 80 for the critic score, not the audience
Yeah.
score.
I said
He did
that
opposite.
the tomato meter was the 80%,
Oh, okay.
Oh.
and with a whopping on 50,000 plus reviews,
Dang.
the popcorn meter is 68%.
All right. Chancey nailed it.
No, I didn't. I was
Yes.
wrong.
Well,
No.
he nailed one.
You
I
nailed
got
the
the I got
tomato.
the I got the critic one, but not the I said 72.
Well, you're still
I
close.
I'm s- I well I'm shocked because I didn't expect it to actually be in the
That's
60s at
low.
all.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that either.
but when I
No,
get to my
this is definitely
my
not.
section,
Because I feel like this movie
Well,
has
I just gonna
aged
say,
really well, but
it's not that it aged poorly or anything like that. I just knew that the critic one was going to be fucking super popular because, like you said, even back then the cast was like
yeah,
it was like stacks on.
stacks on stacks on stacks. Chancey, we lose you.
yeah.
I
No,
think
I'm
we
just
lost
flipping my
Chance
head
a lot.
around.
No, not you,
No,
Chancey. I think we
I'm
lost.
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. I was getting a phone call, and it was like pulling my headset from this to that to this to that. Uh, Sorry. But yeah, no, like I said, it was, the cast even then was really stacked. And then just as, with time, what is it? Uh, the
So
recognition factor went up on the stacked people who weren't even like super well known at the time. Cause like, the one guy from fucking A Few Good Men,
JT
the,
Walsh.
okay,
yeah,
so
thank you, JT Walsh.
And Bradley Whitford was like, I
Yep.
think Bradley Whitford had only been in like Adventures in Babysitting before that. No, he'd been in other
so
stuff.
Ooh, I was
I
gonna
have
say, I mean, I think you might be right.
the list. We have Susan Sarandon, Brad Renfro, Tommy Lee Jones, Mary Louise Parker, Anthony LaPaglia, um,
Anthony Edwards.
God damn it.
Anthony Edwards,
Will Patton.
Yes.
Young Will
Kim
Patton.
Kim Coates, very young Will Patton, Anthony
8342.
Heald, Bradley Whitford, Ozzie Davis, William H. Macy, J.T. Walsh, Anthony Edwards. Literally,
William
like
H. Macy has a tiny part, but he's still like, what a huge star he
Dan
is now.
Dan Castellaneta. For
When
those
is
of
he
you who
in?
don't know,
That's the guy
he
that played the dad in Clueless, right? Is that who I'm
Dan
thinking of?
Castellan.
Uh,
No, Dan Castellaneta was the he. Well, for one, he's
Oh, okay, never mind. I
one
got it.
of the. Yeah, he's one of the people who does 1,000 Voices on The Simpsons, and
Yeah,
he was
that's right.
the
yeah,
invasive reporter that comes into the
yep.
hospital room
Right.
and
And
tries
then
to.
the oh shit. God damn it! Then I can't remember the name of the character that he played in Silence of the Lambs. The head of the hospital that
You we're
Lecter
talking
stays
about
at.
we're talking about two different people, I think. You're thinking of Dr. Chilton,
Dr.
but that's
Chilton,
Dr.
not
yeah,
Chilton.
yeah. No.
Well,
I wasn't. No. I was just saying like another person that
oh gotcha. Yeah,
yeah.
like super stacked.
that fucking guy. that
That fucking guy.
Well, yeah,
fucking
because he literally was one of Reverend Roy's cronies, and yeah, he's still just as creepy in this movie as he was in Silence of the Lambs. So, like Amanda said, the cast list on this movie is freaking stacked, 10 miles deep.
yeah.
So, um, would you like to wager an attempt to try and beat the clock, co-host?
Oh yeah, that's easy.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's a complex. It's an intelligent plot, but it's not like it's way overly too complex.
Right.
So,
Well, the other thing I was going to say too, when we were talking real quick about the cast, was that I feel like the reason that these casts got better and better is because there was pressure. The firm did so well that it was like, okay, we can't do another John Grisham book and not have superstars in it. So every movie after had to have at least one or two, you know, high dollar names, Susan Sarandon and Tommy Lee Jones. Like,
well, yeah, because you figure you started out with uh, Tom, Gene Hackman, blah 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 blah. Then you moved on to Denzel and uh, Julia.
Julia was still relatively unknown at the time, but
Well, no, this
Yeah.
literally was just a couple of years after Pretty Woman came out. So,
This was after
but
Pretty Woman? Okay. I thought it was before. I don't remember. I'm sure you're right.
Pretty Woman was like 1990, I think, or 91.
Oh yeah.
It was really close
So yeah,
timeline wise.
every movie had to get better and better. I mean, Runaway Jury has, I would say, a few less recognizable faces than this movie, but a higher powered cast of people. I mean, getting Gene Hackman and um Dustin Hoffman in the same movie together at that point in time was like
Hmm.
ridiculous. So anyway, which I guess we'll talk about next week too. All right,
Oh, absolutely. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. On your mark, get set, go.
Okay. The Client is a 1994 thriller based on the John Grisham bestseller about a boy whose life is endangered after he stumbles across vital information about a politician's murder. His lawyer is the only person offering protection from the unwanted attentions of the mob and the FBI. But is she capable of saving his life? Dun dun dun.
20 seconds, start to finish. I mean, like I said,
Start making these
co-
longer, but
it's a complex concept, but it's not too complex to where you have to worry about is it going to be too much for the audience to handle.
I think if they would have, well, I mean, it was good they kept the majority of the plot simple because they were able to then obfuscate it with the, some of the filler of the internal stuff, like the who done it portion.
Mhm.
Who done it? What did they do? Why did they do it? And then, if they would have made it, like some extrapolated plot, on top of all of that other subplot stuff, it would have really fucking bogged down the movie and just made it so much worse. Or not so, I shouldn't say so much worse, just bad in general. My bad. Because I like the movie, but it would have just been worse if it would have been a convoluted plot and then all the extra subplot that was needed for it to be as good as it is. Sorry, I'm rambling.
eh.
My meds are kicking in.
I mean, the book is like that too, except that you get a lot more nuances of all the characters. Like you get which
Yeah.
obviously you get a lot more backstory. So, of all of the John Grisham books I've read, this one and Runaway Jury are the only ones I've read more than once. So,
Oh,
I
right on.
remember this one fairly well. It's still been a while, but
Literally,
um,
I just finished a reread on this book like 2 days ago. It's
nice.
a really fast read, but at the same time, it's a great read. If you love reading, I have
Yeah,
because it's one of those that you can sit down and go cover to cover in no time at all. Like legitimately, I started reading this on Sunday, and with a day and a half break in the middle of it all, I think I finished it all in 3 days.
yeah. It's a fast read, even with all
So
the extra information. It goes fast because it's very fast paced. I mean,
yeah,
just like in the Pelican Brief, there's for movie, you know, um, preference or whatever. There
Pacing for the movie rather than
there are
for the
scenes
book.
added that like that big chase scene in the Pelican Brief where they're like that's not in the book. And I
Oh,
think
right
there's
on.
one. I think there's like
mhm.
one in this movie that isn't in the book, but I can't really remember. But I feel like this one was pretty faithful, other than there was so much more backstory on a lot of the characters. Um, I don't know. I
I
guess
feel like Joel Schumacher got the essence of the book and brought it to the screen in a 2 hour long visual
yeah,
experience where the book you can get a little bit more in depth into like Reggie's backstory and all the other stuff that you get in the book
yeah, you
that
get
you
a lot
don't
more
get as
about
much
it.
of in the movie.
which I didn't mind because her what we get so little of in the movie, her backstory is just horrible. Like just who could do something that terrible? Like it just I mean, obviously people do, but it's just like, yeah. So you get a lot more in depth of what happened to her, and then you get a lot more about Mark too, about his father and their family dynamic and
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
Well, and even the little bit that you do get in the movie, it's enough that when you finally get to that final payoff at the end of the movie, it's still when they have their, if, at this point everybody know we're 4 years old. Everybody knows spoiler alerts left and right. And if you haven't seen this movie, it's been 30 years. So, you know what? We love you guys to death, but we're ripping the fucking band-aid off. But you get to that big payoff scene at the end of the movie at the airport where all the deals are being made, and they're Mark and his family are getting ready to go into witness protection, and he has his goodbye moment with Reggie, and he's like, I'm never going to see you again, and it's like,
Yeah.
it
Which is
hits you
why I
right in
wish
the heart because
sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm just going to say it hits you right in the fucking heart because you get enough of Reggie's backstory that it makes her a very sympathetic and relatable character.
I
I don't
just wish
necessarily
they
know if we
could
need all the details that the book gives us.
yeah. I know it's too much to ask for, but because that was so sad, I mean, you definitely get the flirtation with, you know, Reggie and Roy, just like in the Pelican Brief. You get the flirtation with those two, but they don't ever actually get romantic. And I wish in this we could have like at least had more of a hint that maybe Reggie and Roy would end up together or something, just because it would be so perfect. And at least God, something good's gonna happen to Reggie. Shit, like just walks off into the sunset with her paralegal, and it's like, okay.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, she literally she has all this traumatic stuff that's happened to her throughout her past, but then at the end of the day, she does the right thing and takes on Mark as a client, and then ultimately ends up getting him and his family the deal of a lifetime to go into witness protection. And then all of a sudden, yeah, so what? I'm selflessly giving of myself, and now I'm gonna have to get kicked in the damn teeth again and
Oh, be
lose more stuff from my life that.
Bless you.
Owie.
Gesundheit.
So, um, what was it about this movie that both of you guys really fell in love with?
Chancy, you want to go first?
Uh, so I mean, what I enjoyed about it was honestly, it's one of those things because it had been a long time since I had watched it. And the thing that I enjoyed the most about it was the fact that even though I hadn't read the book and I hadn't seen the movie in easily a decade, that I could pretend to go into it like it was the first time. And it was a good enough movie. And I don't mean good enough in the sense of, like it was minimum requirement nonsense. It was such a good movie that I didn't go away with like super plot holes that are like, well, what the fuck is what about this or that or da 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 da. Like I have my grievances that I'll talk about, but they're not like basically loose ends that they tend to do with a lot of movies, especially trying to adapt it from a book. Um,
A legal thriller at that.
exactly. And then on top of that, like aside like not like from what you've just described from having read the book, it and then thinking about it in real time about like having watched it yesterday and everything, uh I think that even if it was a takeaway, like just to separate everything from it, like don't call it John Grisham's The Client, just it's its own movie with its separations and the stuff that they cut out and added for the movie and stuff like that. Like it's solid and it tells the entire story of everything you need to know, like appropriately, whether it be through the opening, like right out the gate. Even that's what I thought was like another thing that was super cool is
Yeah.
it's like you're just fucking dumped into it, sink or swim, and then
Yeah.
on top of that, it's all like and that this is also where the hindsight thing comes in from having watched the first time. You can then immediately pick up on all the little things that aren't necessarily as subtle when you go through and watch it the second time around, but are slightly subtle when you first the horseshoe ring and all the Hudakai, like all the stuff, and then all the things. But like it's all wrapped up with a really nice little bow with a good plot, and honestly, it kind of the stacked cast also really comes in pretty clutch, but it was almost unnecessary. It was a good enough story that you only really needed a fistful. Like you could have probably done, Tommy Lee Jones, Susan Sarandon, and then the rest of them all just up and comers, and still had it been a good movie because of the just how good the plot and the story was in and of itself.
But I mean, most of them were up and comers. William H. Macy, Bradley Whitford, Will Patton, like those were all very relatively unknown people at the time. We recognize them now because they've been around for so long. But I mean, I think besides the two main stars and Mary Louise Parker, the rest of them weren't very popular. Maybe
We'll see
J.T.
it.
Walsh because he had just been in A Few Good Men, or was A Few Good Men after this? I can't remember.
It's pretty close, but I wasn't even thinking in that context. I was thinking, I wasn't thinking of it in a sense of like recognition or popularity. I was thinking of it just in the more of a sense of like, uh, I shouldn't say, I don't want to use the term established in the sense of like, name recognition or anything like that, but like, it's not their first rodeo. They were, because I mean,
Yeah. Except for Brad
the,
Renfro.
yeah, Brad, yeah, no, for sure. Brad Renfro, totally, you
Way to,
know,
way to
I
pluck a
mean,
dude out of nowhere and just nail it.
exactly, yeah, for sure. And that's kind of what I was getting at with the like some of the other ones that they had with people who were known character actors, but just not household names type stuff. And that's, I guess, also that's another thing that's really awesome about those movies from like the '90s and before is that we don't have that a lot anymore, where they have a lot of like uh often used and extremely well known like character actors, just strictly character actors. It's all marquee name folk.
Yeah.
That's my opinion anyway.
So, this movie came out
Sorry.
in '94, and A Few Good Men came out in '90 dose. So,
Okay, so yeah.
The
And then what
Client
about
probably
sound?
was Silence of the Lambs was
Sorry.
'91,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, then yeah.
1991.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, so then I mean, yeah, they would have had that recognition for Childers and the spook from A Few Good Men, J.T. Walsh. Uh, they would have had that name recognition wave. What about Fargo?
Fargo was later. I want to say
I
96,
know.
97.
I want to say, if anything, it was like mid '90s. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to check because also that would
For
also be kind of a yeah,
So Lambs was '91,
yeah.
and Fargo was '96.
Okay, yeah,
So,
okay,
but if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, okay, so Fargo came out in '96, which means they were probably filming it in '95.
right,
So, again, this is probably right after The Client when,
right,
you know, Fargo's coming down the pipe, where,
yep,
Silence of the Lambs came out in '91. It wasn't very long before The
mm,
Client came out. '92 was A Few Good Men,
right,
and I would assume J.T. Walsh probably was back-to-back legal thrillers with that one and The Client,
Right.
because The Client probably would have had to have started filming in, 90 late 93 or mid 93. So,
Well, and Mary Louise Parker also was still like kind of riding the high from Thelma and Louise, so she was pretty
Mhm.
recognizable then too. But then it kind of felt like she went away, and
yeah.
I thought she was so amazing in this movie. Like, I know,
Yeah.
Susan Sarandon got nominated for this for Best Actress, but
Yeah.
I was really surprised that Mary Louise Parker didn't get nominated for like Best
And I
Supporting
always
Actress.
I always
She was
forget about all the
incredible.
stuff that for sure. And then like I only remember her from Weeds. It's a shame, but
Oh yeah,
that's my because that was where I was watching, I was like, oh shit, it's the Weeds
yeah.
lady.
Eh,
But yeah, Thelma and
well, no,
Louise
this
was
is
like
one of those movies that
so.
I remember where I was when I first saw this movie, and I was actually at my aunt's house during the summer when it came out, and I went and saw the movie when it came out, and like literally the first thing she said to me when she got home or when I got home was, "How was the movie?" And my first comment was, "Oh my God, I legitimately could see Tommy Lee Jones winning back to back Academy Awards, because Tommy Lee won for supporting actor for The Fugitive in '93, I believe,
Mhm.
whatever year it was, but he won for The Fugitive. But then, like, he did so well in this movie that it's like I really honestly felt like he could have won for this movie as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like both. The problem is like Tommy Lee Jones was amazing in this. Like, I'm not taking anything away from his performance, but I don't think this character was a. It wasn't much out of his comfort zone. I think while I think it's perfectly cast, like that's exactly how I pictured him when I read the book. Just like I think Susan Sarandon was perfectly cast. That's how I pictured
Mhm.
Reggie. But I think a lot of people could have filled that Tommy Lee Jones role, and it still would have been good. Just because it's not that hard to play a smarmy lawyer. You know what I mean? So maybe that. And again, it's not like taking away from his performance. I'm just saying I don't know that that's as notable of a character because a lot of people could probably pull that off. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Uh I mean, yes. And I mean, yes, and I mean it all. I mean,
I mean, it depends. I guess I'd have to think about who else in that time frame could have done that. I mean, Gene Hackman could,
especially that.
but he was old.
I mean, well, yeah, for sure. And honestly, I kind of feel that uh, Kevin Spacey drew from Tommy Lee Jones'
Oh,
portrayal in his portrayal of the prosecutor in A Time to
yeah,
Kill.
I agree. I agree.
So,
Mhm.
in my just without the ability to pull anything up on a computer or anything, I think that the reason that it didn't have to be Tommy Lee Jones, but the reason that it worked as well being Tommy Lee Jones was that it was kind of one of his first abilities to stretch his legs in that direction. Because, like you were saying, you got like Coal Miner's Daughter, and I don't remember what other little things that he had done between that specific movie and like uh, The
Yeah,
Client.
I don't either because honestly, I think when I watched The Client the first time, the only thing I remembered him from was Coal Miner's
Coal
Daughter.
Miner, yeah. And then, like I said, I think that was his ability to kind of strut his stuff to get to where like it opened that door for him to then move into the known like the roles we all know and love him
Right.
for kind of stuff.
And he was charming and just handsome enough, which I also think was probably kind of like hard to pull off. You
Yes,
have to cast someone who's not. You don't want him to be like overly sexy. You want him to be smarmy, but you also want him to be charming enough that he can like, even though
that
you
the
don't
shitty
like him,
things.
he
Yep.
could still make you kind of like him, even though he's
Yep.
just an asshole.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
And
That was yes.
I know The
Yes.
Fugitive was before this, before anybody says anything. I just hadn't seen The Fugitive. So Coal
See,
Miner's Daughter
I
was
thought
supposed to
I didn't know The Fugitive was before this either. I could have swore it would have came. I thought Fugitive was more 95 or whatever, but
yeah, it was 93.
Nope.
oh yeah, so
Oh,
okay.
you know what other movie he's in that I forgot about? And please tell me at least one of you has seen this movie because nobody knows this movie but me. I
Men in
swear.
Black.
Firebirds. He was in Firebirds, that movie with Nicolas Cage, the helicopter movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I've only seen it the one time. Yeah, no, I've only seen it the one time. Isn't it the uh oh
And mind you, somebody's dad also chimed in with another great Tommy Lee Jones role.
Oh yeah. Okay, Under Siege.
oh yeah, Under
Under Siege.
Siege,
I had
right.
seen that then, so I didn't see those that and I don't think I saw The Fugitive until I was like almost into college. It just wasn't in my wheelhouse of movies that I watched.
But I
Um,
do have to sorry,
so
I'm so sorry.
no,
I didn't
no,
mean to
I was
cut you
done.
off
I was
there.
done.
I do have to say though that actually this kind of makes me lean more into my original kind of thought is that I shouldn't say this opened the door for the typecasting we know and love him for,
Yeah.
but you know him being the bad. Oh, also another one that I just thought of for Tommy Lee Jones that's not him doing a military lawyer or cop thing is fucking Blown Away. I fucking love that movie. We have to bring it to this fucking. We have
Is
to bring
that
it to the show.
Blown Away
Jeff
is the
Bridges.
Jeff Bridges? Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I was
Yes. Anyway, uh like I think of those like this role, that role in Blown Away, Under Siege, and Two-Face are
yeah.
kind of like the ones if I'm trying to think of a fucking Tommy Lee Jones role that like, as far as gives him ability for range in general, those would be like the top four I would pick. And I
Okay.
think because of the fact of the stuff that led up to before that had come out before the client did, it just made him playing that smarmy, lawyer
Mhm.
prick that all that much better.
Okay, so yeah, my dad's in the comments, and I was about to say because he said, "Don't forget way before the Rainmaker," telling my age, and I was sitting here going, "The Rainmaker's Matt Damon," and that came out in like
Yeah.
but he's saying it was made for TV, so we might need to Google it. Because I don't know
No.
that.
Rainmaker is it's Matt Damon and Danny DeVito. Unless there could
Unless
also
they're two
be
different
a
things, because that's also a John Grisham book.
they well yeah that and I think that they both were I think that the Matt Damon Danny DeVito was based off that John Grisham book.
Yeah, that movie definitely was. I
Oh
just
yeah
don't
yeah
know.
yeah. But he also could be right about it. There could
Yeah.
also be a made for TV called The Rainmaker. I mean, it
The
is absolutely
Rainmaker,
possible.
1982.
So
Traveling
yeah.
Rainmaker Starbuck arrives at the drought-ridden Curry place, promising rain for the farm and perhaps a romance for spinster sister Lizzie. Okay.
Oh
Oh
boy.
my God, he's so young. Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
Coal Miner's Daughter young. Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, that's definitely I definitely would not have
That is not the
not
Rainmaker.
I
Okay,
would I would not have remembered seeing that
no.
or have ever seen that.
Were
Yeah,
you
for
even
sure.
alive in 1982?
I was not.
I was gonna say
I wasn't even a consideration.
you weren't even a twinkle in your daddy's eye.
Oh no,
Okay.
not even.
Um. So sorry, Chancy. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about what you loved?
No, no. I'm just
Um.
waiting for my opportunity to talk about
To shit on it. No, I'm just kidding.
well, I mean, kinda, but not
I,
like
I don't shit on it, but I do have some qualms for sure.
And
Okay.
we may have the same qualms.
I think we might have a couple. Okay. So for me, like I said before, one of the things I love is I thought it was really well cast. Having read the book, I these were, especially for Rory and Reggie, that was how I pictured them. I also thought Brad Renfro killed it. I didn't, I feel like he really did do the Mark character justice. I really liked the score, which was whatever happened to Howard Shore anyway. Has he done anything since Lord of the Rings? He did Lord of the Rings, right? Now I'm thinking I'm wrong.
Who did he play?
No, the composer. I feel like Howard Shore did so many 90s scores, and then I feel like he did Lord of the Rings, or am I wrong? But anyway,
I'm Googling right now as we speak.
This is one of the ones where I really felt like the score fit the movie, which we kind of said, Pelican Brief, it did too. The Firm, it totally did not. I thought that all the characters, like especially for what was left out from the book, they really did bring them to life. You were really able to empathize with Reggie with only hearing like a 2-minute version of her story.
Yeah.
And Susan Sarandon played that really well. I mean, when he says, "Do you miss your kids?" and she says, "So much, I try not to even think about it." Like just the way she says it and like portrays that, like it just breaks your heart. And in the book, you get so much more backstory, but like to Chancy's point earlier, you don't really need it. She did it in such a way that, like, would it be interesting to have more backstory? Sure. But do you need it? Not really. Same with, Mark's dad. You get that one scene of him, that's how my father became my ex-father. And, he gives such a good portrayal of showing you what he went through that you don't need, a 45-minute diatribe about what brought their family to that point. So even though stuff was left out, I think they did a really good job.
So really quick, not trying to cut you off, co-host, but literally like wow. Let's see, The Dead Zone, After Hours, The Fly, Big.
Oh.
Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, that's right. I knew there was another one I was forgetting.
Madam Butterfly, Philadelphia, Mrs. Doubtfire, The Client, Ed Wood, Nobody's Fool.
I forgot about Ed Wood. That was a good movie.
The Game, The Truth About Cats and Dogs, That Thing You Do.
Oh.
The Cell.
Did he do Lord of the Rings?
And The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit trilogy, both.
Like I try to know my composers on the big stuff, but I couldn't remember.
It's not. I'm not reading off his whole list, but that's just some of the major plot points of his career.
Nice.
And I mean, obviously, Return of the King, Silence of the Lambs, Philadelphia. Those are 3 Academy Award-winning pictures.
Silence of the Lambs, amazing score, like fucking amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
and
George is here.
Hi, Geej.
Hi. Bye.
Oh, goodbye.
Hello, goodbye.
So, I mean, it's almost 2:30 in the afternoon. It's time for Geej to get out of bed.
Yeah, he's actually been up for a couple hours this time, but Saturdays usually I let him sleep as long as he needs to because that poor guy gets no sleep. Like when he's traveling all the time, he's not only working all day, he's entertaining people at night. And so and he's got to stay out as late as they stay out. We argue about this all the time. I'm like, no, you don't. You can take them out, you can buy them some drinks, and then you can go back to he's like, no, I have to stay with them. Like I can't peace out. So dude gets no sleep.
No, I mean, it's one of those. It sucks, but at the same time, it's like when it comes to clients,
you got to do the schmoozing.
That's
how you make partner in 3 years.
Right.
Yeah. If you don't, I mean, if you buy a couple drinks and then go back to your room or go home or whatever, are you potentially opening the door for them to start to think, hey, they don't care as much about us. Maybe there'll be some other company down the street that will care. So we'll just take our business down the street to them.
Oh yeah. In that context, for sure. Like that, you don't go until they're done.
Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things we go around about because sometimes he won't even like call me at all. Like when we first got together, I was like, I expect to, not when we first got together, but when we were really serious, I was like, I expect to speak to you every single day. There's no reason that you can't call me even for 2 minutes. Like, say you're going to the bathroom and then go make a phone call. But and it's more rare now because we did fight about it so much. But he's just like, it's rude. I can't, whatever. And I'm like, you're telling me all the people with kids don't go and make time to call their kids. Like you can make time to call me. And then also it's like, he's staying out till 1, 2 in the morning, having to get up and go. And, it's like, it's so exhausting. But then at the same time, he's like, I'm valuable to them. That's why I made partner in 3 years. That's why I just got a huge raise. Like, I'm valuable. So I don't want to
Yeah.
not be valuable. And I'm like, yeah, but you also got to figure out, like, you're 43, dude. You're not getting younger. Like, you got to take care of yourself. So however long he wants to sleep on the weekend is fine with me. I will let him. Anyway, sorry everyone for that tangent. I know people listening don't give a fuck about that. I mean,
You're
I
good.
really just liked the movie in general. This is something that I will have a complaint about too, but it evens itself out. So I will say, when we get to it, I'll talk about it more. But I also will say I felt like, even though it was a legal thriller and they went a lot more into this stuff in the book. So in the book, you don't really have the same questions about, like, why is he being charged with obstruction of justice and why are these cops doing this and why are they, because they give you more detail and they go more into like attorney client privilege and, like, this inner dilemma with Reggie and all this stuff. But I feel like at first it didn't do a good job, but then later I feel like they really were able to I hate to say dumb it down, because I'm not trying to say people are dumb, like water it down enough for people to understand why the FBI and the district attorney were behaving the way they were, why he was in danger, and how and why he was going to be able to get out of it. So I thought that even though it didn't start off well with that, I thought they wrapped it up good or well. So, Kasey?
So, well, my main reasons for loving this, I think we've all already gone deep down the road for all of this. I mean, the main reason, oh my god, the cast is freaking amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, truth be
Like,
told, it's probably honestly one of my top 2 or 3 favorite Joel Schumacher movies of all time.
for sure. Sorry, I just wanted to say real quick, I'm not trying to interrupt you, I apologize, but just like,
Oh no,
we
you're
didn't
fine.
kind of mention this, but what you're saying about the cast, like, when we kind of said it before, everyone really did their job. Like, William H. Macy has what, 5 minutes of screen time, maybe 7, but his short amount of time, he does such a good job. Like when he's, the
For
mom's like,
sure.
I've got to go to work, I'm
Yeah.
going to lose my job, and he's like, no, focus. Your kid needs to see you. He's in this deep dark place. Like, that scene, as short as it was like 45 seconds. I was like, wow, he's a good doctor. Like, and you don't get a lot of movies where like the tertiary characters even are bringing the
Yeah.
good, so sorry, go
Right.
ahead.
No, and that's exactly my point that I hadn't gotten to, and I'm glad
Sorry.
you got to there because I wasn't sure. No, you're fine because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to find exactly how to get to this point. But yeah, even like the superfluous characters that it's just like, oh, whatever. It's just a doctor with a little brief 5-second cameo or whatever. Everybody stepped up and delivered in ways in this movie that you don't see on a regular basis when it comes
He
to
made it
movies.
count.
Hmm.
Same with the mom, Reggie's mom, and you know,
Yeah.
and
No, I
JT
mean,
Walsh had a bigger part, but you could really like he portrayed that kiss-assery so well. Like when he's like, I just really I'm tired of chasing Elvis impersonators, and the way he is kissing Roy's ass just in the hopes that he might get a better job. It's so funny.
well, and then literally to have it pay off at the end of the movie where
Yeah.
they're getting ready to take off and go dig up the freaking body, and he's like, okay, so what are we blah 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 blah, and he's all like, you're staying here, we're going. We
You
we
stay by
got
the
what we
phone.
need out of yeah, we got what we need out of you. You're
He played that disappointed face well.
it's like, motherfucker, I literally was here yes ma'aming or yes sirring you all freaking movie long, and then we finally get to this point where I can share in the glory, and you want it all for yourself?
Yeah.
Damn you.
Because you definitely get the feeling from when they get the protective order or the subpoena that he's pulled every string he can possibly pull. He's called in every favor. And it's like, man, he has just used up all his favors he's ever going to have, and you're just going to leave him there in Memphis chasing Elvis impersonators.
Yeah. Literally. So
Right.
yeah, then I'm not gonna lie. The next question I have for discussion before we get to our ratings portion of the show, I'm gonna have a lot more problems with coming up with shit for, because honestly, there's really not a whole lot about this movie that I could find to hate. There really isn't.
Uh,
I
I'm
don't
what you
sure.
have
say?
I hate. I have a couple of qualms.
Okay, well, rip the band-aid off then. And who went first with the likes? Chancy?
Yeah, let me
Yes.
let me go first on this one so that Chancey has time to do whatever
His
diatribe he's got prepared for us.
his
Well, no, no.
meltdown.
I want you to go first specifically because of the fact that if we share grievances, then fucking I don't have to kick the
Fair,
dead horse.
fair. Um, the main things that I had issue with is first, and I get that it's a movie, but I felt like there was a few too many things added for comedic effect that didn't need to be there. The whole ordering the pizzas from jail, yes, that's cute and funny, and it is something a 11, 12-year-old kid would do. But to me, it took away from how serious that situation was for Mark. Like, you're telling me he wasn't going to call his mom and let her know, or call Reggie, and luckily, a scene later after he goes back, he comes up with that whole PTSD idea and does a good job. But I felt like, yes, they added that for comedic effect, but for me, it just took away from the movie for me. I just thought it was dumb. Um, And I think there was like one or two other little ones, but that's really the only one that stands out to me. And, I know they probably had to, because you have to have comedic relief in a stressful movie. Like, I get that. But I also felt like the repertoire between Rory and Reggie gave us that. They had their cute little quips back and forth that kind of lightened the mood. I just felt like that was unnecessary.
See,
Okay.
I took. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't
No,
mean to
you're
cut you off.
fine.
Uh, I honestly took that not so much as like a forced comedic thing, as more, or rather than uh, the best way to illustrate um, how little Brad Renfro's character knew of the seriousness of the situation. Like he was just like,
If he had done it earlier in the movie, I would agree with you. At
see,
that
that
point,
makes sense.
he'd already been threatened death by the mob like twice. So
Oh, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. You're
yeah,
right. No,
I
I
agree with
thought
you.
this was earlier on.
That's totally something an 11-year-old kid would do. Like,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, so it's just, I felt at that point in the movie he was in such peril, and he knew that he was, that there's no way he would have used that phone call to do that. Now, he
Yeah,
comes
no.
back 20 minutes, 30 minutes, yeah, sure. And it would have been funny, and it would have been, oh, okay, this is stupid. But yeah, he's 11.
No, I definitely forgot about the fact that it was as far into it as you were, as where it's at anyway.
Right. Because at that point he knows he's fucked. That's why he's literally like, which the hearing is the next day, but he's like, I can't answer these questions because I'm afraid of what's going to happen to me and my family. This is the guy who
Yeah.
he already knows he is fucked, and he's trying to figure out a way out of it. So it was just ill-timed, I guess.
No, you're right.
The other thing, and this is what I kind of mentioned before, that I feel like they wrapped it up well, but they did not start it off well, was some of the legal stuff. These cops are breaking all kinds of laws.
Oh,
And,
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Left
just
and right.
Will Patton is breaking every law in the book. And it's like, how many times is he going to get away with this before somebody calls him on it? And it takes a long time for it to be like, how'd you get his fingerprints? How'd you get his blood type? And I mean, I guess it fits, but I was like, but Roy is the DA and he allowed that. Like, no, you can go to jail. You can get disbarred for that kind of shit. Like, I just don't think, as much as Reverend Roy wants to get what he wants, I don't see him being the kind of guy to
No fucking better.
blatantly ignore certain laws. Sidestep things, bend it a little, sure, but that was like taking his prints off the man and you know, just like, it was so blatantly illegal that I don't, even for a layperson, it was hard to believe.
So the weird part is, in hindsight, that actually, I guess you could say, real life kind of retconned that, because like I that's the entirety of my diatribe, my grievances, is just the utter flagrant, just utter total disregard in all capacities.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes so much further than just the soda can part, because that's actually
I'm not done.
that's actually no longer illegal, especially if you're in a public place like a hospital or something like that. They can absolutely take something out of the trash. And
yeah, that's fair. That because they do that. That is fair.
Yeah, but however,
arresting a child without his parents, telling him he doesn't getting his confidential hospital records or his brother's records, like, that's all of
yes,
this.
all of those things. Yeah, I was actually, those were the ones I was going to kind of pay a lot more attention to and focus more on.
Like a motherfucker.
And it's boring for me. Like the little podunk ass town cop. Okay, he's trying to, he's trying to get another notch in his belt. He's trying to scare the shit out of this kid, which ultimately backfires on him. Like, that was another thing I didn't understand. You're sitting there scaring him, talking to him about the electric chair. You think that's going to make him tell you the truth? All that's going to do is make him lie more or shut up. Like,
right,
dick.
For fucking sure.
Yeah. So yeah, those aspects, I was like, when you get to the top of the food chain as far as the district attorney, I don't think they're blatantly disregarding those kinds of things. You got to cover your ass when it goes to HIPAA and HIPAA might not have been a thing then, but getting people's medical records and all that, like, it was unrealistic to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That, because there would have, like, no, yeah, for sure. Because that was absolutely 90 some odd percent.
Yeah.
Well, because I mean, like, fucking, just not even going into the things specifically that they did, but what they did and the amount of information that Susan Sarandon had, as far as the evidence of their legal misdeeds, like, she didn't have to. I don't even, like, it didn't, what didn't make sense to me, I guess I could say the only plot hole that I can think of in this scenario is essentially the fact of literally having all of that collateral or leverage or whatever you want to call it in your favor, and like still kind of acquiescing and all this other nonsense. Like, you have all of the bargaining power.
But she was trying to keep him alive.
I totally get that, but that's also, she had all of that with that. Oh, just in and of itself, like, all of that. It's like one of those. This one, like, this shit covers all fees. I mean, yeah, technically it's extortion, but
right, it is against the law. I mean, but
I mean,
so is what they're doing.
I mean, it is, but in the sense, in the long and the short of it, while they would have been like proper fucked, she would have, been able to fight that to an appellate or appeals system and win in the long run. Because it's not so much that it's illegal. It's not so much that it's okay for you to do something that's illegal in regards of doing, for the hell of it, but in that scenario for what is it, like protection of the life of your client type stuff.
Yeah.
Any ethics committee would have totally fucking overlooked that, extortion of corrupt corrupt officials in the first place.
Yeah. So and that kind of leads me into my other, like, as far, because really the legality parts are the only parts that I had problems with, and like I said, they did wrap them up fairly nicely. But like them getting that order to take him into protective custody, that would not have happened in like 12 hours. There's no way that would have happened. The FBI interviewing him, there's no way that would have happened without his mother knowing. And that's against, like, if it's local cops, okay. The local cops are
Right.
interviewing him, they're telling him whatever. The fucking FBI will not take a child into custody and start interviewing them, and they didn't know he had a lawyer yet, but his mom doesn't know and his mom isn't there. That is so fucking illegal. There is no way that this district attorney of the state would have been like, yeah, let's do this, because, sounds like a good idea. And it's also like they knew he knew something, and they weren't giving a shit about if he got killed or not. Like, when they finally did take him into custody, it was like, okay, well, yes, that's unrealistic, but it also was in his best interest for sure. Except that then
I
the mob would have just gone after his family, and
Yeah.
they were clearly already. I mean, the one guy was dressed as a doctor. They're clearly already, there wasn't good
Oh
security
yeah.
in the hospital. So,
Oh hell no. But I do
um,
have to disagree on the whole. The FBI wouldn't do that because the FBI and well, I should say the FBI, not so much necessarily federal prosecutors, but the FBI have absolutely created and sank their own cases because of the fact of their own actions in cases. Like there's been situations where they would prevent a terrorist attack, but it come to find out that 75% of the people that were involved in the plotting of said attack were all feds, and it's total entrapment. So they're basically like, hey, let's come up with this idea and do this thing, and then these schlubs get suckered into doing it, and then come to find out most everybody's not getting charged. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but I just wanted to say that there have been absolute circumstances where the
I'm sure.
FBI's
But
have
when it comes to a child, that's when I'm kind of like,
and
there's
that was fucking
it's
so
real
obscene.
easy to get in trouble on that. Okay, sorry, my last thing real quick, and then I'm done.
No,
Is
you're good. No, you're good because we can kind of tag team this thing
yeah,
because we're on like your grievances is my grievance. Like,
right. They jumped into the legal stuff and it progressed really quickly before I feel like the audience could understand it. Like immediately they're yelling at him, we're going to charge you with obstruction of justice. Well, if you don't know what obstruction of justice is, it's like he's a little kid. Like what is he doing wrong? Like if you don't know anything about the law, you're sitting there going, how can they? And of course later they explain it, and so they do a good job later on, but I feel like early on they really bombard you with all this legal stuff that they don't explain. So that's why I'm like, it's a grievance, but it's also not, because they do get to it and they do wrap it up, and you're like, okay, I understand. But at first, I'm like,
yeah,
what? You can't just take a little kid into custody because of something he might know, you know? And all you're gonna do is scare him into lying more. And I was really glad that he pulled the whole Fifth Amendment thing, because yeah, I really didn't want him to lie. That I was glad
I'm
they didn't go that direction.
well.
So
I mean, oh wait, no, yeah, he was in
on the
court.
stand,
Yeah, no, he was in court at that point because I was gonna say I really wasn't banking on ever any situation where a child that young would know anything about the Fifth Amendment, But I forgot he was like officially in court, so they had, told him, "Hey, you don't have to say anything. All you have to say is this."
Well, no, nobody told him that. He came up with that on his own.
See, and that's
okay, but he talked about how much TV he watched up to that. So I think
Law and
it's
Order. I guess you're
reasonable
right.
to assume that he watched a lot of television because even Reggie was like, "You saw that on TV?" Like, so
Yeah,
that's when you're a latchkey kid in the 90s. That's all you can do is watch TV. So
I was.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
So
and
I
you
didn't
got to
think that
remember
was
this is
really acceptable.
1994, so there's probably already 20 seasons of Law and Order out on
yeah,
TV
right.
Plus, he had
at this
already been
point.
through the court thing with his dad, which the Fifth Amendment wouldn't
True.
come into that, but he already kind of, I think the legal system probably intrigued him because of what he'd already been through. So I didn't think that was too much of a stretch for him to come up with that on his own. That didn't make me mad, but yeah.
It didn't make me mad per se, but it was a stretch for me because it was like this kid didn't get bored and read a book or have his attorney tell him of the Fifth Amendment and he just pulls this out of the thin air. But I guess Law and Order, that okay, I would say I would
I
buy
mean,
it.
I don't think Law and Order was on them, but there were definitely legal
I didn't
shows.
think so. Yeah, Perry
Clearly,
Mason,
he had watched
Matlock.
a lot of TV, and the Fifth Amendment is a real easy thing to throw into a TV show or a movie because it requires very little explanation. But even
Oh
in this
yeah,
movie, I liked that they did give you insight on it, like the judge saying, "No, you can't do that. You're not being accused of a crime," and then the way
right.
that on it was just great. So I thought that was really clever. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, other than that, I really love this movie, and those aren't even like huge grievances because I've read the book, so I know that in
right.
the book they do
Yeah.
a better job. But
See that I don't have that frame of reference, but it doesn't necessarily it's not a deal breaker for me by any means.
yeah, no, it's still a fun, or maybe not fun, but it's a good, fast-paced thriller that keeps you. I saw some people saying this movie just drags on, and I'm like, I feel like this movie could have been longer. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
there's a lot more stuff they could have showed. Especially with like some of the secondary plots. Like again, which we've talked about, this one could be turned into a good limited series, like a 5-6 episode.
Yeah,
Do the whole thing.
yeah, that's valid.
Oh, sorry, there was one more thing. This is why I bring that up about I wish they could have gone more into this stuff. It doesn't matter, and nobody probably even considered this but me, but this is just how my mind works. They talk about it for about 12 seconds. I need to know more about why the mafia killed this senator. And they briefly explain it, but in the book they go way more into it about he's
Yeah.
something to do with landfills, and he's it's like an ethics thing, and I can't remember exactly, but they're taking away from land that the mafia has, or maybe that's where they're dumping their bodies. I don't know. In a
Yeah,
John
I was gonna
Grisham
say
book,
that.
you're gonna get all that backstory, and
I was
so
gonna say. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I didn't. I never once questioned that at all. Because I mean,
All I wanted to know, it's because I read the book.
why is the mob gonna kill a senator? I mean, that's literally like one of three reasons for the most part. Like either he's in their pocket and knows too much and is getting cold feet, or is pulling a Bobby Kennedy and trying to go straight the fuck after him, or you know,
But also
like
Romy. I would have liked to see more of the build up to him killing himself. Like we know why he did it. He knew too much. They were pressuring him. Blah blah blah. But okay, I would kill for a scene where Barry reveals to Romy that that body is buried under his boat. Because to me, that is one of the chef's kiss moments in this movie. As much as Barry the Blade is a fucking moron, I buried the body under his boat so he would always remember it. Like, oh, mwah, that
Uh-huh.
is just brilliant. Like, I would love a scene where Romy finds out that that's what happened. Like, that would just be amazing. That's just me wishful thinking it, but
yeah. I mean, I never thought about that, but it would have been an interesting addition for sure.
because that guy was gone crazy by that point. So
Fucking.
it's not relative to the movie, or not relevant. I get it, but if you
But
wanted,
still,
if you wanted to do like a 6-part limited series, like give us some scenes between Barry and Romy, because you get that one scene with Barry and his secretary, paralegal, whatever she is, and you definitely get, she's trying real hard to be cute and whatever, but you can tell immediately she's terrified of this guy. Like the way she keeps backing away from him, but she's still got the smile, and then he, tries to slam her hand in the, like, I feel like Anthony LaPaglia got, or LaPaul, I can't remember say his name. I feel like he got robbed of a better performance. I don't want to say robbed, because it wasn't necessary to the movie, but if the movie had been like 45 minutes longer, they just made him look so stupid and inept and bullyish, but the guy was clearly smarter. He wouldn't have gotten to where he was. And I feel like more scenes where we had seen him push things to the point that it got to would have been fun. So, anyway. Well, fun's probably the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
He's his uncle's number 2 man on the food chain.
Yeah. Not at the end, though. We're going to take a drive. No more mistakes, Barry. Barry the Blade. Okay, I'm done. But yeah, if
you're good.
If anybody listening knows anybody that knows people and they ever want to do a limited series of The Client, I feel like it would be hard to watch this with new people, but also maybe I'd be up for it just because the book while it's not necessary, the book also gives you a lot of backstory that makes it more nuanced and more, it just goes a lot deeper than what's on the surface. I mean, they could do a whole episode on Reggie's backstory and just,
easily
how heartbreaking it was, and fuck her ex-husband. Fuck that guy. Okay. Sorry, Chancy. Was there anything ever that you wanted
No.
to
No. Like, honestly, this is the first, because, like, the grievances I had were the exact same grievances you had. And I can't really add on top of what was there. So, yeah, no. Yeah.
I took your rant away.
No, not really.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't have a rant like loaded up and ready to go. I knew that like if we didn't agree, for me I knew it was gonna be either this way, or if you didn't agree or see where I was coming from on it, then it would have turned into the loaded rant.
Yeah.
But no,
I figured we would share those issues.
Yeah, for sure.
And Kasey, I don't know. Sorry, I'm not trying to exclude you, but
no.
Kasey and I tend to focus on those things a little more.
You definitely, you both make valid points, and like I said, there wasn't a whole lot I could negatively say about the movie, but if I had to freaking come up with something, I probably would be right in line with both of you on that sense as well.
But it kind of goes to my original point earlier about it being such a well boxed up thing, even for even if it was on its own. The grievances aren't. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
There is one question I have about this, and I could probably just Google it. I just haven't. But so I like the whole plot twist where they're like, Mark's like, maybe he was drunk and high, and what he told me was wrong. Well, first of all, the mob's not going to give a shit. If they think you know anything, they're going to kill you, whether you know the truth or not. But he's like, let's go see if the body's really there, because he's like, can we get the witness protection if the body's not really there? And she's like, no, we just have to take our chances. Do you think that's true? Like let's say they put them in witness protection like they did, like what happens? They fly off into the sunset, and then they go to find the body and it's not there. Do you think they yank Mark and his family out of witness protection? Like, I'm interested to see if that's how that works.
Oh, it would either that or worse. Like they would get in like serious fucking trouble.
But like,
But
then why? He said what the guy told him, which is what they were asking him for all along. What did he tell you in
right,
the car? Here's what he told me. Whether it was true or not's not on Mark. And the mob's not going to care. If the guy told him anything, they're going to kill him. So it's like he'd need witness protection whether the body's there or not, in my opinion. But
see, it really like I guess one thing would be that it really depends
sorry,
on if what.
I just cut off Kasey. I feel bad. Sorry.
Oh shit, sorry. Yeah,
No, you're
we're
good.
kind of hijacking. But I was gonna say, if we're gonna be like true to form, like depending on which type, which version of the mob we're talking about, uh, there would have been a time where it would have actually played out more in line with how it played out in the movie. Because, like, you're totally right, where for the most part, especially nowadays, because all we have really exposure to is like cartel style
Yeah.
tactics and activities.
The
But the
mob's not
mob,
what it used to be.
like, yeah, like the like legit mafia that they're probably referring to in that specific movie is more in line with the no women and children business. And in that regard, they would have saw what the kid, they would have found out what the kid knew, and if they, if they didn't think that it was going to be nothing, then they would have just kind of let it be, and then dealt with the loose ends that could tie back if the kid squealed.
See, I think that's old school mafia, though. I think 90s mafia, the way
That's
these guys were, they probably didn't give a fuck. I mean, could
that's
still give
also
a fuck.
valid.
Yeah, like
No,
Godfather
that's
style
also valid.
mafia, they're not killing little kids. They just would figure out a way to manipulate them or whatever. But and maybe it's just the
No,
way
'cause
they told this.
even Michael at his craziest wouldn't have killed.
Yeah.
But no, like that was the point where it would have been they would have taken care of the other loose ends. That even if he talked,
Yeah.
uh, they would have it would have been more of a that they would have just dealt with that rather than killing the kid.
It did piss me off that Roy cared so much about furthering his career that he didn't care if this little kid got killed. Like, I mean, yes, they took him into protective custody, but that wasn't for his protection. That was taking him to talk. Like they weren't worried at all about this kid and his family.
At the end of
We
the day, it was still 2 hours after all the shit with freaking the lying and Shady trying to get the fingerprints
yeah.
and the blood and the DNA and all that crap. So
Like you're willing to let a little kid die and probably his brother and mom just to further your career? Go fuck yourself, Reverend Roy.
yeah,
Lying lips are an
Yeah,
abomination, so says the Psalms. That's Proverbs 12:22. That's one of my favorite Proverbs.
yeah, that's great.
That judge was not fucking around. He is the
Yeah,
definition of
right.
fuck around and find out. He's like, your position
so
is in that chair.
This is a courtroom, not a
all right,
church.
Yes.
damn right. So with all that said, is there anything else anybody would like to bring up before we get to our ratings?
No, I'm good.
I thought Barry's wardrobe was fantastic. I wish he'd had more costume changes.
It it was very late '80s, early '90s esque fashion.
It was very New Orleans. I will give him that. So,
Yeah.
but I don't think it translated well to Memphis. Like, you might want to change your clothes when you get to Memphis. But yeah, it was great. All right.
So out of 5 female co-host, what would you give the movie?
I mean, I'm try to be objective. But honestly, I think this movie still holds up. Watching it, I haven't seen it in a few years. I watched it a million times in the 90s. Like, I've seen this movie, I don't know how many times, but it's probably been at least 5 or 6 years since I've watched it. I feel like it's aged pretty well. There wasn't anything that was like super cringy or that was like, whatever. It's a good story that still holds up. So, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the commentary. I love when he's like, lawyers are just a pain in the ass. He's like, pain in the ass? Aren't you a lawyer? And that little smile Tommy Lee Jones gives him is just like one of my favorite parts. It's like a well
Touche,
played bit.
motherfucker.
Yes. Like he nailed that. I don't know if they did that in one take or how many takes, but that just little smile was like, oh man, he got me. I'm gonna give it 4.25 fingerprinted Sprite cans.
Chancy Grife?
See, I'm gonna have to go with 3.5. I mean, I don't think it's quite a 4-star film.
Didn't you give that shit show garbage dumpster fire movie we had to do more than that?
Uh,
I'm
no,
sorry.
I think it was right about. I think it was right about that. It was right around that same area.
Okay.
Kind of like a
At the end of the
middle
day,
of the
he still
road.
gave Strangeland the same thing as he's fixing to give
That's what I was
Defiant.
talking about, Strangeland. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. No, and the reason that I didn't go full 4 is because I know that y'all have 5 stars is a hard thing to throw. So 4 stars, I noticed that I kind of give a lot of stuff 4 stars. So I figured I'd kind of be a bit more, not necessarily critical, but object. Yeah, thank you.
All
Yes.
right.
Still a good movie though.
Yes.
Maybe 3.75 or something, but
Okay, that's a tad better.
yeah.
So I went 4.1 half smoked cigarettes out of 5.
Yeah. Nice. I mean, this is
Because
my
they're
second favorite Grisham movie after Runaway Jury.
Yeah, that's also fair though. I mean, it's a good movie. It's not
Runaway Jury is
terrible.
top tier.
I would probably put it in my top 3 favorite Grishams.
Oh, maybe A
Runaway.
Time to Kill is second, and then The Client.
Yeah, see, A Time to Kill is always it's definitely my number one. That's always been my
Yes, he
number
deserves to
one.
die, and I hope he burns in hell.
Okay, maybe A Time to Kill is number one, and Runaway Jury's two. It's hard because I'm in love with John
I also
Candy.
liked I also liked The Rainmaker as well
Yeah,
because of
the Matt
the
Damon
just
Rainmaker.
yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, John Grisham movies are not horrible movies by any stretch of the imagination. They just may not be everybody's cup of tea. So
What's
For
the
sure.
one? The one he did that was actually like a nonfiction that they ended up doing it was
Innocent Man.
based out of Oklahoma. Yes,
Yeah.
that one was good too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, all right then.
So
I concur. Indubitably.
great
Yes.
job, peoples.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he has a book. I'm sorry. He has a book. I'm
You're
gonna say it
good.
real quick. Let me find it. Let me find it. I haven't read it yet, but I want to. Oh crap!
For those of you who don't know, she's looking at her color coordinated
I
bookshelf.
and I know it's in the black section.
Are you
No,
sure that's how you want to classify that section?
my for people who are listening, before y'all come at me in the comments, my books are color coordinated. So when I say
That's
black
why I said it.
section, I know, but I'm just reiterating. I mean the section of books that have black covers. Not to be confused with, books written by black people or books that are about black people or my black porno section, which is hidden somewhere else. Anyway, I can't find it. I'll have to tell you later, but there's a book of his I got that I'm dying to read that has something to do with judges being murdered, but not like Pelican Brief. It's like different. I don't know. Anyway, never mind.
I vaguely remember the plot to one of his books being about that, but um, this was a lot of fun. Great episode. Um, as always, we can't do these without having our amazing listeners here and viewers here each and every week. You
Woohoo.
guys are incredibly awesome. And I haven't told the other two this yet, but I think we're going to go ahead and go with Mr. Chancy Greif's idea and officially anoint our awesome listeners the unpopped kernels.
Oh,
Because
nice.
it's the most fitting nickname that we could give to our devoted hardcore fans. So,
Well, I mean, if the
for
slogan
those of
is,
you,
sorry, I was going to say, if the slogan is, stale popcorn and watered down soda, it's only fitting that the fan base would be the unpopped kernels.
yes,
That's right.
exactly. So, as of today, you all are unpopped kernels. Brandy, Michael, all the rest of y'all that are so lovingly here each and every week. You guys are
Woo!
incredibly awesome, and we love each and every one of you. So,
The army of Orville Redenbacher.
No, Orville Redenbacher pops fully all the time. It's got to be like Jiffy Pop or the Walmart brand.
Let's see. Chance, you want to go first for your shameless plugs?
Yeah, let's see. The Red Eye Roundtable, Instagram and TikTok. Red Eye Table for X. And that's my first name on Facebook. If you can find me, good luck. But if you can, then you can provide me with an album for Maniacal Music Musings.
I have one.
That's not the name of the show. That's not the name of the show. It is Maniacal Music Musifications, as
No,
you
it's
know it.
Maniacal Musical Musicings. And I recommend the
Either
Torture
way,
Poets Department by Taylor Swift.
Well, see, you can't participate in the scavenger hunt because we already know each other.
I know.
You have to seek me out. It's part of the game.
Okay, that's fair.
But at the very least, if you just let me know the name of that album, I will I will do my best to give it a shot. It's not necessarily my wheelhouse, but I do respect, game. I don't want to say game recognized game, but I definitely respect the hustle because she took fucking that. She took Prince's and Michael Jackson's advice and fucking ran with it. And hey, make your bag.
I watched Strangeland. You can
well,
listen to the Tortured Poets Department.
Okay, fair enough. But the caveat on that is I reserve the right to be able to uh, vocally disapprove, regardless of whether or not it's a valid point.
No, why? You want to
Well, I
hate
would
on it
say
just to hate? That's not fair.
no, no.
Hate is
That is
gonna
not
hate.
what I mean by that. Is giving me the ability to voice my discontent for it, like if I don't like it simply because of the fact of it not being in my wheelhouse particularly, not just like shitting on it to shit on it, but just like like how with Strangeland, your disliking of it outside of the other problems you had with it, but basically like your feeling of it being kind of like torture porn and not being in
Okay, that's
your preference. Yeah, it's basically it not being in the same preference wheelhouse type scenario.
but if you're objectively trying to uh, review music, then you have to also kind of do it that way, even if it's not in your wheelhouse. But
so
I get what you're saying.
co-host, do you
Sorry.
really want to subject Tay to being on that show where um, not Chancy Greif's opinion, but somebody else's opinion
Oh no,
is
I was gonna say I would just listen to it and
So to be fair,
give her the rant.
when I did participate on that show, I was fully prepared to give you guys a Taylor Swift album. I had Folklore queued up and ready to go. And then I was like, no, it's my first time. Let me not do that to them. So I gave you guys Leon Bridges, which, Leon Bridges is easy. You can't not like Leon Bridges. So now I'm like, now that we know each other better, maybe I should subject you to Taylor. So let me think if Torture Poets Department is the one I want you to listen to. but I'll give you one. And if you want to give me an album to listen to, I will do it too. Just please don't make it like death metal where I can't understand any other words, because that's no fun for me.
Well, I was gonna say if I do, okay, so like, well, actually, I'll let us finish out the show and then I'll make my point. Yeah.
All right, the sip list is still
Amanda,
on a break.
you
You can
have
catch me. Yeah, sip list is still on a break indefinitely. You can catch me here doing the movies. We got some good stuff coming up in December. We basically hoard the whole thing out. Christmas horror, except for one movie. So yeah, my birthday's coming up in a few weeks, and we will be reviewing Better Watch Out, a Christmas horror movie, which is terrible but also enjoyable. It's
Terribly awesome.
It's terribly awesome. That boy's good and terrible. So yeah, we'll be here for that, and you can catch me Tuesday nights on the I Did Not Make These Rankings network drafts. And
if Harvey and Dre would give us a goddamn topics.
yeah, well, I know it is Sunday. We need topics. I have a great topic. I need to win again, so I have a really good topic. So, and Chancy, you
I
gotta
do.
a night to get off early and join us for drafts.
Well,
I have
I
3.
Okay.
I keep coming in second place whenever I'm on the goddamn show.
Ah, crap. Insulin pump's messed up.
bet.
So, Amanda brought it up. We've got a whole bunch of big stuff coming up over the next 6 weeks. This week, The Client. Next week, Runaway Jury. The week after that, Better Watch Out. Black Christmas. Miracle on 34th Street. Your Christmas Day double feature is Recast the Past with National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and Silent Night. We've got to sit down and figure out who all we're recasting for that, because there's so many integral parts to that cast.
Oh, that's fair.
And then the other half is.
I'll wait for after the show, but I have an idea for that for you.
Okay. The other half of the Christmas Day double feature is Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 1 for Chancy Grife. And then
see, it's a horn out December.
Yeah, it is. With the exception of Miracle on 34th Street and Christmas Vacation, it's all horror.
Out for Santa Claus.
And then we'll kick off 2025 with a promise that I made to do The Notebook.
What do you want? I love the memes of that part. We'll have to talk about that.
So, and then after that, we've got the 4th anniversary coming up. So, big stuff in the next couple months.
I love how you just like nonchalantly just like, we got the 4th anniversary coming up. No big deal.
My 4th anniversary just passed up with no bells and whistles.
I literally have no idea what the hell we're doing for the 4th anniversary yet. So I know that there's been a couple ideas that have been thrown out, but yeah, nothing's been compiled for that yet. And that's kind of sort of part of the reason why I thought maybe January we'd take a few weeks off leading into the anniversary.
I have idea.
That way, we can discuss it off air, because we're rapidly approaching the 2-hour freaking episode.
And I'm about to pee my pants.
Yeah, you and me both. So, before we go anywhere, I know we'll be back Wednesday night for the final episode of Thanks-Grisham Month, but I just wanted to tell Amanda, have fun in Canada, and make sure that you call all your Starbucks lovers.
I will.
On Saturday night.
You better be ready for my call when the Starbucks lovers.
I freaking will.
I've promised like 4 people FaceTimes during certain songs, so would be busy.
Me, Shanna, and who else?
My friend Megan and my friend Katie. So,
You could create group chats and just you could just video chat the group chat.
but they all want different songs.
So make
Well,
different groups.
That's true. Because Kasey's
Boop,
getting
boop,
Blank
boop, boop.
Space, Shanna's getting Marjorie, Katie's getting All Too Well, and I forgot what Megan wanted. I think she wanted Shake It Off. So
Either
anyway,
way,
shake it off, shake it off. Haters gonna hate. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So anybody who does watch us live, I appreciate you guys monitoring. What is the
we
word?
appreciate your patience.
Editing your schedule. That's not the word I'm looking. Modifying. Jesus, my brain.
Holy shit!
No, this is a whole other conversation we'll have to talk about. But I am forgetting words. I appreciate you for modifying your schedule to watch us live on Wednesday night for Runaway Jury instead of Sunday afternoon because I will be at the Eras Tour in Toronto. So thank you very much for those that watch live. And
Yeah.
we hope you enjoyed
we
this
definitely
episode.
have gotten into that rut of being Sunday live. So definitely 100%.
Sunday. All right.
Thank you for letting us modify your schedule, and Amanda, take us home.
Modify, whatever. All right. Well, I am going to go back to my sweatshop of bracelet making. So thank you everybody for watching and listening, and we appreciate all you unpopped kernels, and we hope you all come back for evening at the movies. Goodbye.
Peace and popcorn grease.
Shake it off.